Okay.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Thumbs up. Was that a thumbs up? Okay. Okay, I would like to call to order the Municipal Services Standing Committee meeting. And I'm going to hand the chair off to Councillor Cox.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. May I have somebody move the agenda, please?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councillor Heaton. And seconder? Councillor Terrachuk. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Passed unanimously. All right, so can we have somebody move the minutes from June 10th?
I move the Municipal Services Standing Committee meeting of June 10th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
And do we have a seconder?
Second.
Deputy Mayor.
We gotta see if there's any things we want to bring up.
Yes.
Yeah,
So this is the time.
discussion on the minutes.
I'd like to bring up 2 issues under other business.
Oh, that's agenda.
That was under agenda.
Oh,
Oops, you missed that part.
so it's too late for that then.
Yeah, unless we back up. Can we do that? Or is it critical or?
We can go back and we can just go
Or
back.
is it-
Yeah, just go back. Just go back.
Okay.
Just go back.
I'd like to bring up 2 issues. I'd
We would
like
have to move it and then, we'd have to move it and it never happens.
Tonight,
Again, or just amend it? Well, we'd have to go back and then amend it. So,
can I just be clear on what the man wants to do? Is he talking about other business in the minutes or other business under this meeting?
to add to the agenda under other business, so that's why.
You want to add new issues?
Yes.
Okay, then yes, you need to go back. I wasn't clear if you wanted to deal with water truck services in the minutes or something.
Okay.
I'm just checking on
Um, So I guess just go back and remove it and we'll,
Okay, so we'll back up to agenda A and restart. So go ahead, Councillor Duffy.
I'd like to add,
move it first.
Okay, so I'll need to move the agenda be adopted as presented. Thank you, Councillor Heaton, the seconder. Need a seconder again. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Discussion. So this is where you would.
add two issues. I don't want to be under other business. I'm not sure where we're going.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can put it in the other business.
I'd like to talk about the barricade at the end of McDougall and the cemeteries. Actually, 2 issues with the cemeteries, like break it down to A and B, Anglican Church being B, and cemeteries in general being.
Okay. So noted. Any other discussion?
Well, I guess if we're adding the other business, I don't know, I sent you guys a text before the meeting on the bears at the dump. But is that something we should talk about tonight or not? Just this picture, but somebody in the community sent me a picture of a bunch of bears at the dump and saying what's going on kind of thing, so. Is it something we can discuss tonight or?
I think we did.
Okay, then add it in as well. Let's knock them all off.
Okay.
People want to know.
Okay, Councillor Heaton, the approve of those changes, and Deputy Mayor? Okay, all in favor? Passed unanimously. All right, so now we'll move on to the minutes again. Can we have somebody move for the approval of the minutes from last meeting?
I move the Municipal Services Standing Committee meeting on June 10th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Thank you. That'd be Councillor Tuggy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Passed unanimously. All right, moving on to item C, vision and mission. So we should be reviewing that prior to each meeting. declaration of financial interest, seeing none here. We have no delegations. Next on our list is item D, the director's report. Acting SAO.
Oh,
That's,
to pass it over to the director.
You guys have the report there. We've been focusing a lot on signage around the community and bringing stuff up to compliance with bylaws, things that are noticed around the community. The water plant has been busy assisting with the capital projects that are happening around the mainland station, the raw water intake. The facilities have been in the pool as well as other minor things around there as we can when we can. We've been trying to keep up with the grass cutting around the community with all the events and prioritizing the areas that are happening. And Public Works has been, like I said, really working on signage, roadways, and then keeping coverage at the landfill to deal with the bear situation as well. That's all I have. The grader is on the rebuild phase, so I believe 4 weeks out. Coming back, so we'll have that for Marine Drive. Marine Drive's been pretty good so far. And then of course assisting with the other events around the community, right? Just hauling stuff around, and doing what's needed as needed when needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Terry.
I have a couple of questions. Number one, I'm looking for an update on the new garbage truck. Where are we in that process? And number two, when I was reading your report, I don't know what a Jersey barrier is. Could you explain that?
The Jersey barrier is cement. It was big little cement blocks from the parking lots. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and the garbage truck was put on hold as a request.
Realistic, no.
I know it's a 10-day process, and I was told to put it on hold.
Okay.
That's
new information.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if our acting SAO knows anything about why the process was put on hold for the garbage truck.
So I don't have an answer on that. I reached out requesting an explanation. I just don't have one at this point.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? No? Seeing none? Oh, okay, Councilor Eden.
I do want to thank your facilities, I think, for putting up the jerseys and stuff at the arena. Looks really nice in there, and that's been a big request for the community. And then the stages up and down wherever, so grateful for that as well too. And yeah, just want to. And the pool, the kids are so happy, especially with all the different camps and stuff going on there. So definitely grateful for that to be finalized. Also a bit confused about the tendering for the garbage truck. I think that's new information for most of us. So definitely want to follow up on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Eden. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on. No items for administration. Under other business, so first off, we'll have the barricade plan for Councilor Tucky, sir.
Okay, this is a bit of a rather long story, but I had a lot of feedback from the community. They don't like the barricade, and a lot of people feel that basically it's an accident waiting to happen. I've been in Fort Smith for over a half a century now. We've had 2 fatalities involving poles here in Fort Smith, the big poles going along towards the airport. They both happened at intersections, and it wasn't a matter of vehicles going through the intersection and colliding with the poles. Vehicles were traveling towards the airport. One happened at McDougall and King Street, which is just over here by the Salt River First Nation building. The other happened right at the intersection of Calder Avenue and McDougal. I've gone by the barricade a couple of times, and I've had my concerns. I was part of the line crew that put the poles up out there. So I went and talked to my former boss, Wayne Martin, and he hadn't seen it, but he told me to go out and look and give me a call. And I think he came to the same conclusion as I did. Basically, what's more important, making sure someone doesn't get injured or protecting a power pole. My opinion is, if you want to take a look at the power pole as a target, we just moved the target 45 feet to an area that's going to ensure that something's going to happen. And knowing that, as a town council, I would feel the decision we made to pass that, I voted against it last week, we'd be opening ourselves up to a liability if something ever were to happen. And an accident investigation resulted in the fact that the barricade shouldn't have been there to protect the pole. I think we listened to the report from the Director of Protective Services, and as soon as we heard the words, this is a safety concern and whatnot, we kind of let our smart thinking out the window, thinking, okay, this is a real concern, maybe we should move for it. However, in hindsight, I think we should reverse that decision and have that barricade taken down, because there are several things that could turn into catastrophe. I mean, there are many scenarios that could cause an accident as a result of that barricade being there. Over the years, I've seen cars hit the ditches and stuff, but they've always seemed to land on the other side of the road. In fact, one car drove right into the bush on the opposite side of the pole. And I just feel that we're putting members of the community at risk with that barricade being there.
Councillor Carrigan.
Refresh my memory, I don't recall voting on putting up the barricade. We were informed as part of the director's report, and he did say yes, it was a safety concern, but I don't recall any motion or any vote taking place on whether to install it or not, unless I'm just old and my memory's going.
You remember right on. It's and Adam did mention, and I was talking to the mayor about it a couple days ago. Like Councillor Kentucky, I've gotten a couple of calls as well, so I can echo your people are concerned about the barrier. But Adam, our director for safety, right, was saying that it's part of a plan or a document that was approved by the previous council on improving safety in roads in Fort Smith. Was it not? I can't remember the name of that document.
The Transportation Master Plan.
Transportation Master Plan. So it is contained in the Transportation Master Plan, which was approved prior to us. And to take it out of that, to take it out would mean we'd have to go look at that plan and change what was approved by a previous council as to what would be built. I would think it's not just a matter of knee-jerk reaction here. It was done, it was put in a plan, the plan was approved by a previous council. It's contained in that plan. I think you can't just willy-nilly pull it out. You've got to go in and say, okay, we need to change that section. I'm looking to the Councillor Kubrick, because he's usually good with plans, so am I on the wrong path here? I'll turn it over to you, Councillor Kubrick, if I could, just to find out what am I off on a tangent here? Councillor Kubrick?
To be quite honest, I've not read that particular plan, so
Okay.
I cannot say for whether it's in there or not. Being that there is a traffic master plan, administration does have a responsibility to fulfill plans as under their best judgment. I would suggest at this point in time, if we want to consider revisiting this are things that, first of all, we should be asking administration to provide us a briefing on the situation. What led up to a decision to undertake that part of the plan, and at that point, council can make an informed decision on our next steps. To try and do something right at this point, saying barricades up, people are complaining about it, yes, that's great, but we have a responsibility as council to make informed decisions, and right now I'm far from being fully informed on this matter.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I agree with Councillor Couvret. I would like to put forward a motion to direct administration to prepare a briefing note on the history and the erection of the guardrail. That's what we're talking about. For our first regular meeting in August, because the regular SAO will be back for then. And then Councillor can hopefully be a bit more informed and proceed from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a seconder? Mayor Peter. I guess we don't need any further discussion, or let us do any further discussion on that? Council Lucky?
I think before a motion is actually made, someone should ask if the discussion is over. Because my opinion differs than both yours, that if we recognize something that is a potential hazard or a danger, it should be removed immediately. It's something that you should not leave there. You know, there's all kinds of potential things that could happen on the corner. Some kid's going home on a bike and sees a car speeding towards him, and he panics and goes over the guardrail, slices his leg, breaks a femur or something. And we know that that is right now currently a hazard. We're putting ourselves in a very awkward situation. There are other ways to protect people from hitting that pole. I'll give you an example. I've seen these before. You take those 4x4 posts that you put along the road and make a circle around the pole, 6 or 7 feet around the pole, and put wires through the post that will stop anything from hitting the post. In my opinion, for someone to hit that post, they have going awful fast. And there's been no, when I looked at the pole, I didn't see any impacts on the pole. So I'm not sure if I was fully informed by the Director of Protective Services. He stated that he attended injuries and stuff there. But it's very obvious to me, and I'm very concerned, and I'm glad I'm stating it, that something is not safe. It is not safe.
Okay, I think I'm going to make a judgment call. I might be wrong, but I think we don't really can't make motions on operational stuff.
So you can read the motion for briefing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The motion on the floor is for the briefing note. So we have a seconder. So any other discussion on that? All in favor? Okay, passed unanimously. And so then we'll move on to item 2, another business.
Cemeteries.
Cemeteries?
Okay, this one's going to be a rather lengthy one. I guess it's been going on for some time. And I was approached by some people from the Anglican Church, so I decided to take the matter up to up with Father Sober, and basically ask for his story on what's going on over there. And this is his reply. The first about the cemetery at the time, the SAO, under the mistaken impression that the church owned the cemetery, so when people called the town asking for maintenance on the burial plots, she would direct them to the church, expecting the church to handle it. But in reality, the church collects the town collects burial fees and is responsible for maintaining the cemetery, and not the church. Second issue was with the access road. When my predecessor applied for development permits to renovate the hall, the town initially pushed back, saying the hall was too close to a road. But that road, quote, was just a driveway. The original land transfer to the town included a provision for a separate access road to the cemetery, but the town had never built it. They were still using the driveway next to the hall. My predecessor's position at the time was that if the town was going to treat the driveway as a road and block the hall renovations, then they couldn't keep using the church property to access the cemetery. The solution at the time was for the town to clear some trees and finally build the proper access road where it was originally intended, closer to the prison, and they did eventually build it. When I arrived, I still occasionally had complaints from people about the entrance being blocked, snow not being cleared, and I would pass those along to the town since maintenance is their responsibility. Then at some point, the gate in the original entrance was locked and the pile of dirt was placed in front of it. I haven't yet had the chance to raise this with the town, but it's something I want to address. There's no good reason for the cemetery to have only one access point. Some people don't know about the new road, and when they see the original entrance blocked, they feel they can't visit the cemetery or their loved ones. It's so much easier for us to use the original entrance when we're carrying a coffin for a service. And from a broader perspective, having a locked gate and a pile of dirt at the entrance doesn't look welcoming for people coming to mourn and remember. So, this is basically what he's talking about. I'll pass one your way, and one your way for people to look at. It's not the best picture, but that's what people see at the entrance now. And actually, we actually have two of these. There's one in one of the other cemeteries. I mean, it was good put there in good intentions, but sometimes that's just what they are, good intentions. I'm of the belief that the town should remove that gate and should take that pile of dirt out of there. And the St. Isidore Cemetery has 3 access points. What can't the Anglican Church have 2? We should be working with the churches. We should be working with the people of the community. And regardless who's responsible for the cemetery, I don't think the town just had the right to walk in there saying, okay, you want us to build a road, we'll build a road, and use the threat of building permits. To me, that's a big square parking lot. It's just 2 entrances, 2 exits. That's all it is. It shouldn't have had nothing to do with the building permit, because the addition to the building was on the opposite side. So I don't know why that argument was presented, and I feel the same as Father Solborg, that gate should be taken out, and that pile should be taken out, and that cemetery should have 2 access points. And I'd like to make the motion in that regard.
Okay.
So I just don't know about budget and time and things like that, so if I can bring a briefing note to at least outline what those things would look like, because that's work beyond, and I don't know if that's then something we do in-house or if that's something we find a contractor for. So if that's the ask, I can bring that information forward, because I can pass it over to the Director of Municipal Services, but I don't know if that's something that fits within the budget that we currently have for cemetery maintenance.
Well, I really don't understand why we have to do a briefing note for every decision that we make. There was no briefing note made, when the town decides to dump a load of dirt there and lock the gate. When I look at the arguments, doing something like this seems kind of malicious to me, and I don't think we should have done that. I mean, there was discussions, there was conversations going about maybe you won't get your work permit. The work that was being requested was on the opposite side of the building, had nothing to do with the driveway or a road that the town was calling a road. And it just seems to me this got a little bit overly ridiculous, really. And I think we should correct the problem that we created. And we created a problem for the church in terms of burying people. They don't want to walk out in the road back into the cemetery the other way. I think they have that right. And I think arguing with the church and doing something like this is wrong. It should be remedied as soon as possible.
Okay,
Sure.
Councilor.
Is it possible, like, is there, a reasoning behind it? Like, was it vandalism? I don't know, like, it was before our time, right? So I'm just wondering if anyone knows why the gates were locked and there's a mound of dirt there.
So I think, again, I'm first time chair, so I don't know if I'm taking out of order, but I think these are the questions that would come up in a briefing note. So, did we have a motion for?
We had a motion, but no seconder.
Okay, so do we have a seconder for that motion? Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, thanks. And that was, to clarify, that was the motion for a briefing note, correct?
No.
No?
It was a motion to have the gate removed and the dirt removed and allow the church a second entrance because the other cemetery has 3. That's simple.
In that, sorry if I can jump in. In that case, I'm going to withdraw because I do think we need to hear a little bit more details because I agree with Councillor Tucky that this is something that should be done, but I would, before we, make that decision, I would like to know why we're in this place in the first place. And so I think a briefing note is an important step.
I still see.
Okay.
Counselor.
All right. So any further discussion on that motion? Councilor Brett?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't see any reason why we could not request the briefing note be prepared and sent to Mayor and Council on and before the next meeting in August, so that when we do show up at that meeting, we're fully briefed on the situation. I can understand the frustration from the Anglican Church and from Councillor Tucky about the situation. I think it's crucial that we know why the gate is locked. As Councillor Tucky said, there doesn't seem to be any logical reason for that gate to be locked. Why a pile of dirt is there? Maybe just somebody hasn't had a chance to plow it down. What is it intended use? Things like that would be nice to know. And with regards to the second entrance, just further clarification whether that would be through the Anglican Church's property, which I believe was the previous point of access. And if that's going to be a point of access, I think we need explicit agreement from the Anglican Church that they agree for that point of their properties to be a public access point to the graveyard as well. it's logical that there be two points of access, but they would need to agree to the public using their properties as well.
Councillor Tucky?
Okay, I have to apologize because I kind of missed something here. Basically what happened is that the town locked the gate. The town put a pile of dirt on town property to prevent access. The Anglican Church did not request that road be blocked. So I don't know why the town did that. And maybe we need a briefing note from the town explaining why they did that.
Councillor Fairchild?
I don't know if it can be included in the briefing note, or if you happen to know when was the gate locked and the dirt pile up there.
I believe it was within the last year, I'm not really sure. Director Grenny, you might know that.
That's been there for 2 years since
2 years?
the discussion of separating the parking lot between Anglican and the town property and creating a new route.
Any further discussion? So, the motion on the floor right now is to remove the gate in the pile. But we could also have a motion after that for the briefing note if that makes more sense.
One vote.
Well, that's what I mean, right? So if people want a briefing note, then that can come after this motion. We have to get this motion off the table first. So, any further discussion? All in favor?
This is for the briefing note or
No.
for the action?
This is
Okay.
the action.
Okay.
So all in favor? 3, all opposed? We have 4. So motion is denied.
Sorry, can we voice who was for it and who was against it, just so I have it on record?
Okay, so 4 was Councillor Heaton, Councillor Tucky, and Councillor Couvret. Against was Councillor Fairchild, Deputy Mayor Keiser, Councillor Baith, and myself.
Okay, thank you.
Just a point of order. It was not there was no request for a recorded vote, so in the minutes it should be noted that there was 3 in favor and 4 opposed.
Okay.
This is the second point of order. Is the chair allowed to vote?
Tiebreaker. It was a tiebreaker.
It was a tiebreaker.
Is it tiebreaker? Okay.
Would it be the chair or would it be the deputy mayor?
Sure.
Sure.
All right, well, learning. Okay.
Good first one.
I'm never chairing again. So, okay, so now moving on, Councillor Beck.
Actually,
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chair.
have
I would like to-
cemeteries in general.
Hang on, I'll do this one first. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to put forward a motion that administration prepare a briefing note providing mayor and council with a full background on the Anglican Church gate locking, sand pile, and other relevant information, and that it be provided to mayor and council at their earliest convenience.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder?
So I do, like, including maintenance, who's responsible for the maintenance of the cemetery?
We know who is.
Okay. I wanted to get it off.
Okay, do you have a seconder for that?
I'll second.
Councillor Tucky, any discussion on that one?
Your final choice of words, at their convenience, or what do you mean by next meeting?
As soon as possible.
At their convenience does not mean as soon as possible in my books.
Yeah.
It means when they can get to it. So I think, I would like
Or
your
our-
motion, yes, I would like the motion to be clear. This is a priority. We like an answer quickly, we want to resolve this. I don't like the fact that there's tension with the church and the town, and, you know. So from my perspective, we need this is a priority. And then we'll move from that briefing note.
Okay, do you agree with that wording, or do you change that wording? Okay,
I agree with the deputy mayor, but I don't like as soon as possible or our
Yeah.
convenience, put a date.
Next
in
meeting?
there. Our next meeting is next week, and then we have one on August 5th, I believe. So I would suggest that it be amended to pick one of those 2 dates.
I'd go for next week's meeting.
I'm looking at, ask the director if it's possible.
Normally it would end up going to the next municipal services meeting, so that would be the third Tuesday in August then.
Small.
Too late, too long, next week.
I don't know if we're breaking any codes on that, but I think this, this is something that doesn't need to be a mountain of a molehill. I think we need to deal with it. There's gotta be a clear reason why this happened, and there's probably an easy fix, so let's not drag it in.
Well, actually, we might not have a choice because right now Father Goldberg's in Germany, but I'm not sure when he's back.
It'd be nice if he came back and then we had a solution.
Second week of August, is that?
Hmm?
Second week of August.
Second.
This just seems like such an easy fix to me.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's something we don't know, and Councilor Cooper has said that, we need to get it. Why is this situation happened, and then let's fix it.
Okay, so can we get clarification on that wording for that motion? So
Good, next week.
we're happy?
Next week.
The July 22nd.
Okay. Okay. Councilor Burrett, you're,
I'm okay with
who is the seconder?
That's okay.
Yeah.
Works, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Passed unanimous. Okay, moving on to the next other business.
But that would be me.
No,
No.
you're lacking.
No,
No, Glenn.
we still don't want to be.
Okay, and I just want to speak on the cemeteries in general. I have visited both cemeteries. They're both a mess. There's piles of garbage. St. Isidore's, there's more garbage. And they haven't been cared for very well. And please don't take this as a personal attack. Director Grenier, I know my wife's talked to you a few times. I've talked to you a few times. We're well aware of your situation. However, it's something that the town is going to have to address. And this has been going on for 4 years now. And I'm giving it a great deal of thought. I guess I have to take some responsibility for things not getting done. I think the previous council has to take some responsibility. And I think this council, we're here a year now, have to take responsibility for it too. Because in order for things to change around here, it's just a matter of council making a decision, passing a motion, giving directions to administration to have things done. Plain and simple. So I am prepared to make a motion that the cemeteries that the fence be up at the cemetery and that cemetery St. Isidore's look like a cemetery by mid-October. And if they have to, it's not council's problem how things do or don't get done. It's council's problems to say great job or why didn't it get done. But it's also our responsibility to give direction. And that's through a motion. And like I said, I'd like to make a motion that the cemetery fence be up at St. Isidore's and that cemeteries look like cemeteries by mid-October.
Okay, so we have a seconder. Motion on the floor.
Before we second, like, what do you mean by, I'd like to be more specific about look like cemeteries?
We have one of these over at the Anglican Church. We have one of them over at St. Isidore's. It looks like kind of like the huts that the Vikings lived in the 1600s when they came to Canada. It's unacceptable. I mean, the intention was good. Put some black dirt there for people. And I did use it, and some other people used it. But to leave it there and to observe it doing that. And you guys should really take a drive by the graveyard and just have a look. I mean, it's just unacceptable. It's not how cemeteries should look. And, first thing I'm tired of talking, I mean, I started talking about this long before either one of my grandchildren ended up being put to rest in that cemetery. You know, 4 years of talking, it's gone as nowhere. And it's time to demand action. And it just means that the people working for the town of Fort Smith are going to have to work together to figure out how do we do things that are quite visible to not only the people that live here, but people who drive by and who are visiting here, and tourists. Can't be a nice looking thing for tourists to see.
All right, Councilor.
Yeah, comment. So I thought the fence was contracted out. No, sorry. I thought that the fence was contracted out and it's not part of, like, the budget was approved.
Point of order. We had a motion brought forward, it needs to be seconded.
So, yeah, so we need a seconder for that motion, or just to move into discussion?
Okay, I'll move it. Or
Okay,
second, yeah.
so seconded by Councilor Lee. So now we're open to discussion.
I thought it was contracted out, the fence.
Councilor.
Some materials for the fence were tendered and are here in the municipal, yeah, okay. Those arrived, and I believe what the discussion was following that was that it was going to leadership to discuss how the installation was gonna work, because it isn't currently an item in the capital plan. So if it's something that we wanna reprioritize, it's then it would have to be added into the capital plan, or funds from something else would have to go into it. That's what we're saying. So for the contracting cost to actually install the fence, because that's, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't been here for every one of the discussions, but I think that was it, was leadership and other organizations to help with the installation.
Thank you. Councilor Goodrich.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I know this council and previous council have talked about approaching the leadership council about coordinating the actual installation aspect of the fence. I can say with a significant, well, with total clarity, the leadership council has never been approached to actually put forward their opinion or their plan to actually see that being undertaken. So I think it's upon, as part of our decision process here, is to ask administration or the mayor to bring this to the leadership council for them to be able to start doing something to actually potentially see the installation of the fence. As well, I know I brought it up on more than one occasion, is cemetery is a community asset. To say it's the town's responsibility, no. Yes, the town may own the property, it may have obligations and things like that, but I think the ongoing beautification and maintenance of the cemetery is a community responsibility. And I had suggested that at least once prior that we need, as a community, to maybe have a session or some form of engagement where we look at possibly creating a Friends of the Cemetery group who would take on additional responsibilities to maybe once a week or every other thing, where they can solicit volunteers from within their group through the corrections operations, students looking for community services time or things like that, to actually assist in maintaining our community asset that happens to be a cemetery. So I think, as Councillor Tucky mentioned, we've talked about it for 4 years. Maybe we need to, as he's proposing, to actually take it one step past the talking and actually say, let's do something. Let's have this engagement with the community about the establishment of the Friends of the Cemetery group, society, whatever it be. And secondly, the mayor or somebody from the administration talking to the actual leadership council about the actual installation of the fence.
Okay, any other discussion?
Am I allowed to ask our director a question? I mean, the maintenance of the cemetery, I'd like to separate the fence from the maintenance because it's two totally separate issues to me. We're talking lawn mowing and garbage pickup, right? Mainly is what we're not rebuilding graves or stones or, you know. So it's just, so what's the challenge that we're facing as a town to do that? You would know that better than I would, so is that fair to ask?
Yeah, it would be lawn maintenance, garbage picking up, dealing with trees, problem trees, and then snow removal in the winter as well. Just the designated paths that we want to.
Do we have a scope of that type of work? Like, is it not getting done because you guys are spread too thin, or what's going on that Councillor Tucky's saying this is not happening?
We only have enough resources to do it twice a year, so we do it once early in the year and then once towards the end.
So that's the challenge we're facing. I just, it's not, yeah, so I understand the challenge so that we can look at finding a solution in my mind. So that's where I'm at with that, Carl, I want to understand that.
Thank you. Yeah, I had something to say. If we could get somebody to take the chair.
So I'll take the chair.
Thank you. So yeah, on my personal side, I don't understand why the town gets saddled with cemeteries. I think it's just one of those things nobody else wants to do, so the town gets stuck with it. I would really like to see, well, ideally I'd like to see somebody else look after it. I don't know if that's feasible or not, but you know, but there's been talk of how some of the committees or working groups work with the town, you know, the sustainable advisory boards, I guess is the right term. We obviously have a lot of people who are very passionate about this in town. Maybe it's worth doing an advisory committee on this, and I've never seen any plans for the cemeteries. I know when there was some talk of land use and stuff, you know, what are these cemeteries going to look like in 50 years, right? Are they going to be full? Do we need to start allocating land for further growth? None of this stuff is addressed in a plan. I saw the tender documents for the new fence, and there's kind of a drawing, but there's no real guideline on where gates would be and what things would look like. So for us to go up to say slamming a fence isn't going to work, because we're going to run into the same problems where the gates aren't going to be in the right place, the poles are going to be too high, or they're going to be slightly the wrong direction or something like that. So I think an advisory group or somebody who's passionate about it, or the group of people who are passionate about it need to give us more direction, and whether that's through the TLC or another advisory group, I don't know. But yeah, that was my 2 cents worth. So, I can take that.
I'll hand the chair back to you.
Thank you.
I'm sure you want it.
Rightly or wrongly, whether the town or the municipality should be in charge of the cemeteries or not, we are. And I think it behooves us to maintain them in a proper and respectful manner. This is the resting place of a number of our former citizens that helped build this town, and to hear that the resources are only allocated to cut the grass and pick up garbage twice a year is just astounding to me. I think that needs to be revisited, and if resources need to be reallocated, then they need to be reallocated. I mean, we have an unsightly yard bylaw that says you have to cut your grass every so often and keep your yard clean. Why doesn't that apply to us as a town? So I'm going to vote in favor of Councillor Tucky's motion, and you know, it's just abhorrent to me of the disrespect that's built into not maintaining these things to a standard. And then whether we look at in the future getting a Friends of the Cemetery committee going to help with that, or divesting ourselves of responsibility for them, that's another discussion. But right now, we're responsible and we should be maintaining them in a respectful and dignified manner.
Any other further discussion? Councilor Tucky?
Just in closing, I guess. I was going to suggest administration to do some research. I think our cemetery would definitely fall under historical sites. We have a cemetery that's detached from the church in every way, shape, and form. However, there are funds through historical sites and through Truth and Reconciliation. We have a graveyard where we have people who probably offended, people who were offended, people who are repatriated into that cemetery. We have a case that's going on right now. Through Truth and Reconciliation and historic sites, we could probably make a good argument to receive probably a pretty good pot of money for the maintenance and care of the cemetery. And I think it's something that we should explore.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, can I get you to take the chair one more time? Oh, one last comment. So, yeah, I think, I'll just say my piece ahead. I'm probably gonna vote against this just because there's no clear direction on what it's gonna look like. And again, to pay a bunch of money, and I know last time it was tendered, it came back very expensive, which is why the fence never got installed yet. So unless we have a solid vision from the interested parties that of what this should look like, ideally some kind of cemetery plan for both of them. And I think that's easier said than done because we haven't approved the budget for that. And likewise, we haven't approved enough budget for Public Works to look after this stuff. So I think we would need to look after that. And then, you talk about the potential funding opportunities. That's great if there's somebody here who has the resources to chase it. But we've been stacking lots and lots and lots of stuff onto the staff. So unless we're willing to budget more resources to that, then and come up with a solid plan, then yeah, I think it needs to be done eventually, but we need a better plan on how to get there. Sorry, that's my piece.
Thank you, Chair, back.
Thank you. All right.
I just was struggling with similar reason but different for Councillor Cox here in the sense that by combining the fence with the cleanup, I think we've made it a untenable motion. The fence should be dealt with in its own motion, in time, budget, whatever. It may be October, it may be later, but it shouldn't stop a cleanup. So to me, it's by putting the two things in one, it becomes an untenable motion. If they were separate motions, I would be more open to sort of entertaining them. But cleanup and defense by October to me seems like you're putting administration in a situation where they're going to, if for whatever reason we can't get the money for the fence, they fail the motion. I don't necessarily want to do that to them. We're supposed to provide direction and leadership, not crack the whip in my mind. Like it's about direction and leadership, and putting them in a situation they can't meet isn't good leadership in my books. So I don't like the motion the way it's stated. The two things combined in one.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? 1, 2, 3. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Motion is denied. Okay, so now moving on, we have one more other business.
Is there anything stopping us from putting a motion forward to do cleanups? Before we move on? Separate the motion, I'm looking at it.
Sorry, no, Councillor Bates has a comment.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Councilor?
But I was just trying to agree that, I think we should have a motion to, try and get it cleaned up.
Okay.
I turn to you, Councilor Tucky, to make that motion. It's your project, you've been wanting to do it. Can you change your motion, original motion to be just the cleanup by the
I
town?
would prefer not to change my original motion, and like it documented as it was made.
Okay,
I will make a motion that the graveyard be fully cleaned up and brought into good order.
Okay, so do we have a seconder for that?
Yeah, I'll second.
Councilor Fairchild. All right, any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, approved anonymously. All right, now we're moving on. Last item on other business. Deputy Mayor.
and this was, it's not, it's more of a question, like, if I can ask it of our director, just about the fence, I guess, because I've got pictures sent to me today of multiple bears climbing all over the dump. I seem to remember a while ago, we were facing some discussion with the ECC about not maintaining our fence. Obviously, it's not maintained. Is there some update that we should have as council? Because it's making rounds. I'm getting pictures.
I got them too.
Yeah, so the fence is working. The fence is, there's a couple bears trapped there. They go in there when the gates are open.
Oh, okay, so they're already
Can't
in.
get out. Yeah, I've been working with the ECC on this. I've given
Okay.
them communications back and forth about this. And I'm working with a local contractor to actually shorten that fence to a top part of this as part of the cover project this summer. But yes, those bears are trapped in there because of the gate being open for the public during the day.
Oh, okay. So is there any plans to deal with the bears?
I'm just waiting to hear from ECC. They're short-staffed right now,
Okay.
as they said to us, so we're working on that with them.
Well, that's good, because that's something to tell townspeople who are asking us questions, so. That was all I needed to hear.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I went to the dump today, my wife said, watch out for the bears. I said, no, where we have electric fence.
Mm-hmm.
I get home and I see pictures on my phone.
All right, so
Thanks,
we're
Ed. Thanks.
moving.
I have a question.
Councilor Eden.
Thank you. Are they gonna be like trapped and released, or are they gonna be shot?
Yeah, I can't answer that right now. I'll be between ECC and us later.
Can you put in a request that they're trapped and released?
Yeah, I can do that for you. I will discuss it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. No other business. We have the, excuse me, councilors.
Well, seeing as I screwed it up last time, I move that Mayor Ferguson and Councillor Benwell be excused from the Municipal Services Standing Committee meeting of July 15th, 2025.
I'll second.
Thank you. Guess we don't need discussion. All in favor? Passed unanimously. Okay, the next meeting, the next Municipal Services meeting will be addressed at the next Committee of the Whole meeting, which will be August 19th, 2025, correct? Okay, and can we have a move to adjourn?
I move we adjourn at 7:56.
And seconder? Excellent. All in favor?
Okay.
Passed unanimously.